Okay, so have you ever felt like you're living with some unwelcome guests? And I'm not talking about your in-laws.
Uh-oh.
No, we're talking about those little creatures who love to make a snack out of our pantries, those mice.
Yeah.
Today, we're diving deep into the world of mouse control. Specifically, we're looking at Sherwood Park, Alberta. And to help us out, we've got some insights from a local pest control company's website called Sherwood Park Pest Control.
Hmm.
So by the end of this deep dive, you'll know how to handle those tiny trespassers, and you'll know what professional help is available in your area.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to become like mouse eviction
Yeah,
experts.
mouse eviction experts. Now, one of the first things that caught my eye on the website was their mention of single feed bait. And they say this stuff can take care of a mouse in just one feeding.
Wow.
So what makes that different from what we buy, like at the hardware store?
That's a good question, and I think it really comes down to the active ingredients and the potency. Um, Professional grade bait will often have, compounds that are much more effective and act much faster than over-the-counter options. Think of it this way. Retail bait is like a mild cold, whereas professional bait is like a targeted knockout punch.
Okay, so you're saying it's like bringing in the big guns, basically.
Exactly.
Okay, so the website also says that mouse control is easy when you leave it to the pros. But is it really just about having stronger bait?
Stronger bait is definitely part of it, but there's a lot more to it than you might think.
Yeah.
Technicians are trained to really identify what is the source of the infestation. They're not just going to treat the symptom. They're going to look for entry points. They're going to look for nesting areas. They're going to even look for food sources that might be attracting those mice.
Oh, so they're kind of like mouse detectives in a way.
Exactly. They're figuring out like the who, what, where, when, why. And once they've identified that source, then they can implement some more targeted treatments. So it's not just about randomly putting bait down. It's about figuring out where's the best place to use the bait, and even exclusion methods, like how can we seal up those entry points to prevent those future infestations. So it's a much more holistic approach, not just setting traps.
That makes a lot of sense. Now, I did notice something interesting on their website. It seems like they don't just service Sherwood Park itself. They also mention a bunch of other places like Ardrossan, Bremner, and even surrounding acreages in South Quicken Lake.
Wow.
So is it kind of like having like a local guide for pest control? Like they know the terrain, the hot spots, and the best strategies for each area.
Exactly. That experience in those specific communities is going to allow them to tailor their approach for maximum effectiveness. They're going to know if, for example, field mice are more common in certain areas, or if there are certain building styles that are more vulnerable to infestation.
I am curious because they do mention having a few different treatment plans. What kind of options are we talking about here?
Okay, so from what I see, they offer 3 main plans. First, there's the single visit option, and that's probably best for people who maybe just have a very small problem, a minor issue, or just need that kind of one-time intervention.
Okay, so that's like you just call in the mouse busters for that quick strike.
Exactly. Then they have a 6-month protection plan. So with this one, what they do is they'll come back, up to once a month for 6 months if they're seeing any sort of activity. And that gives you that ongoing peace of mind, making sure that those little critters don't decide to make a comeback.
So it's like a mouse-free guarantee for half a year.
Yeah. And then lastly, they have a 1-year protection plan, same kind of structure. They'll come back every month if they need to, but this time you're covered for the whole year.
So it sounds like they really have a plan for every single level of potential mouse mayhem. But how do you know which plan is right for you?
That's a great question, and it really depends on your individual situation, how comfortable you feel. If you are dealing with like a recurring problem or you just really want that ultimate peace of mind, then a longer-term plan might be the best way to go.
So it's kind of like buying an insurance policy against mice in a way.
Exactly. You're choosing that level of protection that you feel most comfortable with.
This is already making me feel so much more informed about tackling mice.
Wow.
This has really got me thinking about, the whole DIY versus professional thing.
Yeah.
I always just kind of tried to handle things myself, but maybe I'm making it more complicated than it needs to be.
It's a common mistake.
Yeah.
We often think we can handle it. But the thing is, mice are really adaptable. They can squeeze through tiny little holes, they reproduce really quickly, and they can even become resistant to certain types of bait.
So the DIY solutions might not be as effective as we think.
Exactly. They might work for a little while, but they're not getting to the root of the problem.
Right.
And that's where the professionals come in.
Right.
They've got that knowledge and they've got the tools and the experience to really tackle the problem from every angle.
If you're struggling with mice, Don't be afraid to reach out to the pros. They can help you get rid of those unwanted guests and give you that peace of mind that comes with knowing your home is truly protected.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the world of professional mouse control. It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope you've learned as much as I have. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and remember, sometimes the best solution is the one that helps you sleep soundly at night.